Welcome back.
Yeah, here we are again. It's Exiles TV for this Wednesday, and today's the 11th. It's Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. So, if you know someone who has served in the armed forces, take some time to thank them if they're still around for their service, because Veterans Day is the day we observe for all those who have served in the armed forces, both current and past. Remember, Memorial Day is for those who didn't get to come home. Veterans Day is for everyone who serves.
War and peace, all over the world or just in the United States. Everyone who took the oath and served.
Didn't Veterans Day used to be a Monday holiday? Didn't it used to float?
Well, you know what?
No, it's always been the 11th of the 11th, because the 11th hour, the 11th day, that's when the armistice was signed.
11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month at 11 a.m. is when they signed the papers to end the war, to end all wars.
Mm-hmm. It didn't end all wars, Bill.
No, it did not. But
sadly. I'm sure that there's going to be a big observation, as there normally is in France. France observes it like nobody else.
Yes.
France observes Veterans Day more than we do.
Well, France and Belgium really got totally devastated by World War I. Mm-hmm. It was pretty much exclusively fought in France and Belgium. And it was a nasty, dirty war. We saw mustard gas. We saw the use of flamethrowers for the first time, trench warfare. And as I said to you during our podcast, the casualties on the Allied side, there's no telling what the casualties were like on the Hungarian, Austrian, German side. But the casualties on the Allied side, there were more from disease than there were from battlefield injuries. It was very, very nasty, particularly the mustard gas. Mm-hmm. Because that was the thing when they started to deploy it. They didn't realize that those gas canisters had no eyes. Mm-hmm. And if there was a sudden change in wind, that gas might be blowing back on your own people. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty awful.
Or you might be launching it at the battlefield here, but there's a school a half a mile downfield.
Yeah.
These all sorts of innocents and unintended victims of the new. World War I was unique because there was a lot of emerging technology that was being put to use in the theater of war. Mm-hmm. We didn't have gas bombs and before that, and we didn't have planes that could drop things on you, and we didn't have, we had the Gatling gun, but World War I saw the emergence of the fully automatic machine gun.
Yeah. What's interesting
horrible
about World War I, and aircraft were quite new, and the military wasn't sure that they wanted aircraft, and they did deploy aircraft. Everybody did. France, the United States, Germany, Great Britain, Austria. And they were largely used at the beginning of the war as observers. So they could come back and signal to the troops on the ground, you need to go left 30 degrees. That's where the main body is. Or if you want to get around them, you need to go right. And then somebody, and I believe it was somebody British that was in the observer seat, got on board and had a whole bunch of hand grenades with him. And he tells the pilot, get right over them, get low. And it was like hey y'all, hold my beer and watch this moment of aerial warfare.
Look what we can do.
Pull the pin, dropped them. Pull the pin, dropped them. And all of a sudden, they were bombing infantry on the ground, and it was successful. Then they outfitted
Hey, what
airplane.
if we put bigger bombs in these things?
Well, and they outfitted them with guns. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, so their observers are trying to find our troops. How about we just punch a whole bunch of holes in their airplane until they go down? Mm-hmm. And then we got into the dogfighting, Baron von Richthofen and some of these folks. And a lot of that was actually meaningless to the war effort. Because you weren't escorting bombers with your fighters. You're just trying to shoot the other guy down.
It was basically an aerial, pardon the phrase, a pissing contest.
Well, they used to call it a flying circus.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all it was the German pilots versus the Allied pilots, just seeing who was the better pilot.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the equivalent of a gunfight.
Yeah.
Only not in the street. It was up in the air.
You got all these resources, for one person on the other side.
Who was the World War I ace that was credited with shooting down von Richthofen?
I don't remember.
Eddie
Snoopy.
Yeah, that's it. It's Snoopy. There
Eddie
we go.
Eddie Rickenbacker.
Eddie Rickenbacker. Thank you very much. Interesting that a guy of German descent would get credit for shooting down the German.
And loved his
flying
12-string guitars. The Byrds, the Beach Boys, the Beatles, they all used them. They were
Roger McGuinn had a 12-string guitar, unlike anything I'd ever heard.
Now, what is...
So anyway, on this Veterans Day, we wish the best to all veterans of military service.
And I'd like to call your attention, I don't normally invite people to look at another piece of media, but as I am wont to say on Veterans Day, a very interesting statistic that you may not know about. The state of Louisiana has more veterans per capita than any state in the Union. We have people in this state, men and women, that have served our country in uniform a higher percentage per capita than anybody else. And the Advocate today has got a really nice article about the 26 people with Louisiana ties that have been awarded our nation's highest military award, the Medal of Honor. And they detail each of them, and it's a good read. One of them won it twice. And here's something else I noticed. When we were sitting here before, ready to go, I was scrolling through. I already knew this instinctively. A huge percentage of those Medal of Honor winners are from the Acadiana area. For our viewers out in the Lafayette and Houma, Thibodaux and New Iberia area, take a look. You might see some relatives in that list. A big percentage of the 26 are from Acadiana. And of course, other famous veterans, if you drive between New Roads and St. Francisville, you're going to come across a bridge whose west lanes are named for one and east lanes named for another. Two commandants of the United States Marine Corps. And I believe there have only been 60, okay?
Yeah.
Two commandants of the United States Marine Corps from Louisiana. General Lejeune, and of course the largest Marine Corps training depot is named after him, who was from Point Capee Parish, and General Barrow, who was from West Feliciana.
I remember there was a huge effort to rename the John James Audubon Bridge for either or both. Maybe call it the Barrow Lejeune or Lejeune Barrow Bridge. That was not successful. People don't tend to like to change the name of a structure after it's been built and named. So the answer was they made the bridge approaches. They named the bridge approaches after these two soldiers who served with distinction.
Those, by the way, they were Marines. They weren't soldiers.
Aren't Marines soldiers?
No. Marines are steely-eyed killers that go in and make it easier for the soldiers to come and occupy the area.
I thought soldier was a generic term for someone who fought in a military unit. No. Okay.
You got soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and now you got Space Force. Do it with me.
Space Force. I could get behind being a member of the Space Force. All right, time for our first break of the hour. When we come back, we're basically this hour. We're just gonna go over some local stories and get
including this one that's going to have a lot of people upset.
Yeah, will there be? That doesn't look like there's going to be an LSU Alabama game. I don't know when the do-over. We'll talk more of that on the other side. This is Exiles TV, and we will be right back.
Taste the feeling. Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
Welcome back, Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
So, is
Okay,
this
let's
a
go into some
blessing
locals.
or a curse?
I don't know, but COVID-19 is putting the kibosh on the LSU-Alabama game, and what remains up in the air is, will there be a do-over date? Is there a do-over date available in the SEC schedule?
People have been saying, no, there is not. They were supposed to come here Saturday to kick our butts all over Tiger Stadium.
But they ate up with the Ronas.
Well, and so are we. The way this works, and I didn't realize this, is that whatever the circumstances, you have to have a minimum number of scholarship players to play your games. For example, if you're taking them all to the zoo and you have a bus accident,
Okay.
and you get a lot of people that are dinged up and they're uninjured, and you have to have one or two, number one and number two over in your depth chart from quarterback. You have to have 4 offensive linemen, and I think you have to have 4 defensive linebackers, cornerbacks, and all that, and all of them have to be scholarship players.
Okay.
If you can't do that, you can't play. And so here's what Scott Woodward said. Based on the number of student athletes unavailable due to positive tests and non-COVID injuries, we will not have the minimum number of scholarship players necessary to play on Saturday. We are disappointed there will be no football in Tiger Stadium this weekend. They're not terribly disappointed because this was going to be like a 248-3, so they're not terribly disappointed. But we will always prioritize the health and wellness of our student athletes. We will continue to follow the league's protocols in order to safely and responsibly return to play. The opportunity to reschedule the game is still under evaluation, but everybody was making a lot of noise because we're not the only one. Mississippi State's game and Texas A&M have been postponed. Mississippi State is Auburn. Has been postponed. And that's gone to December 12th. Texas A&M and Tennessee has gone to December 12th, but we've already got a cancellation with Florida that has gone to December 12th. So
How are they going to have an SEC championship if they can't run a full schedule of games?
how are they going to have even a lot of these bowl games? I mean, the Big Ten, a major conference, just started playing 2 weekends ago.
It's a mess.
Scott Rabelais has some thoughts on how this could be done. Let me see if I can pull this up real quickly
Pull that up.
and give me half a second here.
Okay.
But again,
Time's up.
the impact of not having this game, the economic impact is terribly difficult on Baton Rouge, and it would be terribly difficult on Tuscaloosa if it were a home game for them this year.
How many cardboard fans have been printed up to be in the bleachers for that game?
Not enough to make up the money that is being lost at restaurants and gas stations and.
Even with restricted attendance, there would have been a fair number of people come in from Alabama to see this game.
Oh, half the damn state would have been here.
You could say what you want about Alabama fans, but they spend their ass off while they're here.
Oh yeah,
God bless them.
we like having them. You know who's got a reputation as the cheapest fans, by the way?
Huh?
Florida.
You can buy it. I can see it.
Which
Florida comes and they're like eating weenies in their hotel room and stuff like that.
Now you know who spends the most of all the SEC teams when they come to Baton Rouge?
Couldn't venture a guess.
Go ahead, try.
Vanderbilt.
No, Tennessee.
Okay. Well, I was close.
They
It was
got
in the state.
They got traveling alumni that love to come here. They come days early. They stay after the game. They stay in hotels. They don't pop the awning on their RV. That's just for their comfort on game day. They stay in hotels. They eat in restaurants. Paul Arrigo and the Downtown Development District and the Chamber of Commerce, they love seeing that orange coming into Baton Rouge. Those people spend some serious money.
I think it's safe to say, though, that back in April or May, when we were a couple of months into this whole Corona thing, that we thought that by now we'd be back to some degree of normality.
Normalcy.
What's the right word in this case, normality or normalcy?
I think it's normalcy.
I don't know which, but I think that a lot of us thought that this whole thing would be over with.
Well, the Advocates'
But now here we are,
paywall is
hip
keeping me
deep
from getting in.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Here we are hip deep in football season, heading towards Thanksgiving, and we still have closures and stuff because of coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And the problem is I don't think that I think that we're still panicking about this thing and not applying science to it. It's got a less than 6% mortality rate.
Yeah, but again, if you've got positive players, you can't put them on the field.
I understand. Yeah. I understand. Although how they think you're going to transmit coronavirus to guys when you're just slamming up against them.
Well, they spit all over each other. I mean, oh, good God! Yeah, you could transmit radiation disease at a football game.
Well,
they slobber and spit and huff and puff all over each other.
They're also all young men and in one of the least at-risk groups.
So we don't care if they get sick.
Well, I'm not saying I don't care. I'm just saying if they do, they do.
Well, here's Scott Rabelais' thought.
Give them a remdesivir and tell them to call me in the morning.
Have Alabama come to Baton Rouge next Saturday, November 21. Move the game scheduled for November 21 at Arkansas to December 19th. Or move the Alabama game currently scheduled for November 21 against Kentucky to December 12th.
But that's all presuming that everybody that's not well will be well in time to play.
Yeah.
Which is not, I don't think that's a foregone conclusion.
I think that we're not going to play Alabama this year. So can we chalk that up as a win if we don't play them?
No. I don't think it works that way.
We can't take it as a loss, do we?
I think if you're going to go along those lines, it's a presumptive Alabama win.
Well, like I said, I mean,
let's face it, they beat us more often than they don't.
Well, and this year, like I said, they were going to beat us 295-3.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. Auburn, who ain't that damn good, kicked our butts all over the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Missouri beat us. Mm-hmm. On any given day, Missouri can't beat the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Well, Bill, it's a rebuilding year.
What is a rebuilding year? I mean, that is the honest-to-God truth.
I love when they say that, though.
He lost 32 of his key players.
A whole team,
and then he had 3 more that could play, but they decided they didn't want to. Mm-hmm. Saving
the
themselves for marriage.
quarterback of much promise that we all waited 3 years to see is still sick, as far as we know.
He has an injured groin.
Yeah.
It hurts when he does this.
Time for another commercial break. We're going to take care of that business. You remember the pastor who, when the governor said, "No more church," he said, "To hell with you." Well, they didn't say that literally. Got an update on that story coming up when Exiles TV continues. Stay there.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Right now, during the Team Honda Upgrade event, get a new 20 Accord Sport for just $309 a month with no money down, no first payment, and no security deposit. It's time to upgrade to your new Honda at Louisiana's #1 new car dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hi, welcome back to Exiles TV. Bill over there, Kevin here. Here's an update on a story that got a lot of traction, not only on this television program, but also on our podcast and on talk radio, not only in Baton Rouge, but I think around the state people were talking. Maybe made national news, didn't it? Especially
it made national
when
news.
Pastor Spell was put in jail.
You're talking about his terrible haircut.
The local pastor,
Oh, no.
Tony Spell, who flagrantly defied Governor John Bel Edwards' stay-at-home order by repeatedly having large gatherings at his church, filed a lawsuit against several local officials back in May. You remember this. But claims against the governor were dismissed yesterday.
Aww.
Tony Spell was seeking a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction preventing the governor and the heads of local law enforcement agencies from arresting or fining him for continuing to hold church services while the state order was in effect. East Baton Rouge Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome and Central Mayor David Barrow were also named in the lawsuit, but have since been dismissed from the lawsuit. On the 15th of May, the pastor of Life Tabernacle Church, Tony Spell, was denied the temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction against the governor's stay-at-home order. Tuesday, claims against the governor, also still named in the suit, Central Police Chief Roger Corcoran, East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff Sid Gotro, all dismissed with prejudice. Judge Brian Jackson said the court will decline supplemental jurisdiction over any state law claims and a separate judgment will be issued. So what does this mean for Tony Spell and his congregation?
Basically, the court told him.
See, people think, and I'm sorry, you and I are going to disagree on this. I think that when we didn't know much about Corona back in the spring, that it was perhaps unwise for him to say, yes, come to services, and perhaps put his parishioners in harm's way. Now we know a lot more about the virus, and we know that nowhere near as many people are dying of this thing as we're told. I think I'm on the Reverend's side now, where if people want to, and not just the Reverend side, the side of people of faith who want to attend church services. If you want to go, go. If we can go en masse to Walmart, as long as we practice social distancing and wear a mask. If we can go to other gatherings, as long as we practice social distancing and wear a mask, why can we not then go to church?
Well, you can now. The thing is...
Can you? How many churches are open right now?
A lot of churches are open, but they are practicing social distancing. They have more services so their congregants can come. But, again, this goes back... I'm going to invoke George Carlin, the great comedian, satirist, and the man who could find the irony in everything, who was also a very observant Catholic. And I mean observant in that he observed all the things that happened to Catholicism while he was a stage presence in the United States. And so I'm going to invoke him. I'm going to say, as George Carlin said, when they changed the rule that you could eat meat on Fridays for Catholics, he said, and there's still some poor schmuck in hell doing eternity for a bologna sandwich. The fact is, I don't give a rat's behind about Reverend Tony Spell or anything he has to say. The fact of the matter is, he filed this lawsuit and he defied the order purposely just because he thought it'd be great PR for him and it would rally his church and he'd get a constituency from it. The order was in place.
By the way, that's worked.
Yeah, the order was in place when he defied it. And the fact is, I thought they waited too long to arrest him. So the thing is, you don't get to choose when you obey orders, laws, and statutes.
I know, but let's break this down to its base thing. They arrested a preacher for having church services.
Well, actually, they arrested him for trying to hit somebody with a bus.
No, as far as I know, hasn't been...
Well, they simply cited him. They gave him basically a ticket for defying the closure order. His arrest actually came for narrowly missing that
trying to
guy
intimidate
with
a demonstrator by backing the bus up rapidly in the man's direction.
Yes.
Which was probably not smart.
Well, there's a lot he does that isn't smart, but there's a lot of people like him. You got
to understand, the members of his church love him.
Of course they do.
They think the world of him.
Because they believe that that is their pathway to salvation. You know, just like an Islamic terrorist who believes that he's going to get 27 virgins in heaven if he kills himself by detonating a bomb strapped to his body. For some reason, he believes that.
So here's where we are. His countersuit, or his suit against the governor for the order, is now kaput.
Well, not only is it kaput, it cannot be rebrought.
Now,
it was dismissed with prejudice.
With prejudice, which means I don't want to hear this crap again. That's basically the judge's way of saying that. The next thing up for grabs or for decision is the fate of the Firehouse Barbecue in Watson / Denham Springs. This is a business that has remained open. Now, well, as I understand it, they've observed the rules about how many can be in and where your patrons have to sit. They are not forcing their patrons to wear masks, and they're not forcing their servers to wear masks.
But see, I don't think that they've been cited or anything.
It's all up in the air right now.
Yeah.
It's all legally up in the air right now.
Well, and
If I were the state, I wouldn't sue somebody for defying the order. To me, that's petty. It's small. It's one business, and I say, well, if we let one get away with it, no, then everybody will do it. But it's like, this is not a dictatorship, John Bell.
Well, no, but see, that's irrelevant, and it's specious. The fact is, if you don't intend to enforce your orders, no matter how big or how small the business, don't issue the order. You cannot pick and choose which statutes or orders or laws you choose to enforce.
I guess my problem with all of this is you can't, I don't like that government is making me do things for my own protection.
Well, you may not like that, and that's your right.
First of all, you're in the case of the governor's orders, he's clearly not applying science. Not science. He's applying maybe guidelines given to him by people, higher ups like Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, et cetera, and I don't like that a lot of this, the failure of these states' orders to contain COVID. As one person said, we've been wearing masks for 7 months and people are still getting sick. Mm-hmm. So, do the masks work or not? Well,
the masks work when we're out in public, but they don't work when you're in grandma's house with 40 of your relatives that come from 8 different parishes. They're not wearing masks, and you're kissing everybody on the lips. I mean, they don't work when you're in a college bar and everybody's drinking out of everybody else's solo cup. The fact of the matter is, I don't like it either. But you know what? I'm smart enough. I've been around long enough to realize that what I like or what I don't like has no bearing on the impact of law. I was one of those people that when seatbelts became mandatory, I didn't like the idea at all. I didn't like it. But you know what?
See, I was one of those that wore my seatbelt before they became mandatory.
But I also realized
this thing's here for a reason.
That I would get a ticket. Because if the officer pulled me over, and I said, well, I don't like it. I think it infringes on my personal liberties. I think the government's telling me what to do. He's going to say, tell it to the judge. Here's your ticket. And in a society like ours, we do too much of making allowances. Oh, but they got a sick baby at home. Oh, but he's a veteran. Oh, but he's a preacher, and then his parishioners love him. That is a lot of happy horse crap as far as I'm concerned. And here's where I have an issue with John Bell. And I've been pissed about this from day one, and I'm pissed about it today, and I would probably go to my grave being pissed about it. If you don't intend to enforce your orders, then don't waste my time and don't write them. Do not waste my time, my energy, my goodwill, and my tax dollars. Don't write them if you don't intend to enforce them.
So what are you saying? You're saying you want state police coming down, cracking down, shutting down businesses, sending people home?
If they are violating a law, and it says that in the law, you have to enforce the law.
It's not a law.
Well, it has the force of law. That's already been ruled upon.
Yeah, I know.
Say, you want to unravel this ball to fit your paradigm instead of what's black and white and on the page.
And our legislature had the ability and had the chance to take some of this power, as absolute power, away from him.
That little magic trick was wonderful.
Blew it.
Well, they blew it on purpose.
Yeah,
because they didn't go through both chambers, and they knew it.
That was all theater, every bit of it.
And anybody that's had a 4th grade civics class knows that you can't do anything as a legislature unless it goes through both chambers. Mm-hmm. And of course, they're assuming, and they're probably right, that the population of Louisiana is stupid.
Well, they are probably right about that, because what was done. First of all, bills were passed by both chambers and sent to the governor, which they knew he would veto, and he did. The resolution, the petition that was signed by House members only, didn't bear any weight of law.
No.
And it was for 7 days. It's like, what did you really do?
But some of those tin horns went back and said, I tried to end this for you. I was in there. That was all
I signed
theater.
the petition. You signed the petition weeks later.
Look, I don't like these executive orders, but they are what they are. Just like I have flown enough that I don't have to listen to the damn safety briefing. I know where the exits are. I know how to work my flotation device. I know that I keep my seatbelt on when I'm in my seat in
But
case
there
there's
it is. The
rubber.
law says you have to. They have to say it. So
Well, and you also have to pay attention to it.
you don't have to pay attention to it.
I
mean,
have been on flights where they have said.
Have you had them stop and say, oh, "Excuse me, am I boring you?"
No, but they will say, please put down your reading material and pay attention. You have to, under federal law, you have to have the safety briefing.
It's here.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, there's just some things. I know motorcycle riders that didn't like wearing helmets. You know what? I didn't like when they cracked their craniums on the street and I had to pay for their health care to the tune of several $1 million before they eventually died horribly with drool running out of their mouths.
Who had to pay for their health care?
We did, under Medicare. Or Medicaid in this state.
How many people involved in motorcycle accidents got Medicaid? If you can afford a bike, you can afford it. You can afford your own insurance.
Oh, Kevin, you don't get this.
Come on,
Kevin.
That's a specious argument right there.
No.
We all have to pay.
I can give you the numbers. Here's the deal.
That's like the old thing, guys. When you smoke and you get cancer, we all have to pay. It's like,
Well, we do.
if it's so dangerous and we all have to pay, then why is it still legal?
Traumatic head injuries in accidents.
Nonsense.
Here's the deal. You understand there's a cap on your health insurance, right?
Yeah.
You understand it's probably between $1 and $3 million?
Yes.
Okay. So if somebody impacts the head onto the concrete at 55, 60 miles an hour, and they have traumatic brain injury, they have multiple surgeries, they have to have rehab, and they find there's nothing. You know what that bill is probably going to end up being?
$4 or $5 million.
Yeah. So who pays it?
After they've exhausted their insurance, I guess Medicaid.
Yeah, which is almost always the case with something like that.
Now, how many of those cases are there, Bill?
Probably about 20 or 30 in the last 10
California
years.
still is not a mandatory helmet state.
A lot of states aren't.
Still is not a
lot of
mandatory
states
helmet
aren't.
state. And I dare say, just by pure size of the state and population, California probably has more head injuries via motorcycle than Louisiana.
And they may not be concerned that the state picks it up. I am.
And by the way, you can be injured badly enough, despite your helmet, to still be in that category.
None of that's arguing around the central thesis. What I'm saying is, I don't like it that we have to pay for people who hurt themselves with stupidity.
Well, and we don't. We have a mandatory helmet law.
But
And if you're found riding without a helmet, you get pulled over and you get cited for it.
yeah, but it's still, we pay for it, and my tax dollars and your tax dollars pay for it, which is the point. It doesn't matter what they do in California or if you can get hurt worse in a hot air balloon. None of that has anything to do with the question.
Okay. Listen, we've run up against the clock here. We got to stop and do a break. So let's do that, and we'll resume this argument.
And everybody,
on the other side.
send Tony Spell a love letter. Give him a He likes
I
that.
think if people want to go to church, they should be allowed to go to church. That's all I'm going to say about it. Go to church if you want to.
Or, better still, send the money you're going to give this charlatan to me. I'll make better use of it.
Okay. Quick break. Exiles. Be right back.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Back with Exiles TV. As we said, just to kind of rounding up some stories in the news, we have further details on the incident with Coy Moore, the freshman wide receiver with LSU.
Do tell.
That claims that he was violated several times. Maybe a poor choice of words.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best choice
Maybe
of words.
he should have said my civil rights were violated, because when you tell me you're violated, I get sick images of a nightstick.
Well, and again, maybe it shouldn't even been my civil rights were violated. It's like, I don't think they handled me properly.
And I'm not going to form a judgment here on Coy Moore, okay? I'm going to wait and see what comes out of this. I know that right now BRPD are saying we're not going to release the body cam footage just yet. But Scotty Hunter with Channel 9 has done some digging. According to the report that was issued to the media, officers were dispatched to 740 West Chime Street, right near the north gates of LSU, at around 1:46 Sunday morning. This was this past Sunday, the 8th. The call came in as a disturbance. The report states dispatch told the officers that according to a security guard, there were approximately 200 people on the roof of the parking garage at that address having a large party and playing loud music. Now, upon arrival, officers say they patrolled the parking garage from the first floor to the roof. They did not locate any large party or gathering. In addition, they didn't find anyone playing loud music or causing a disturbance.
What does that tell you?
The report states the case was closed without incident. The report does not mention anything about the alleged encounter with Moore. Now, Moore claims that he was violated by the officer, saying they pulled guns on him and at some point tried to unzip his pants to find a gun that he claims he repeatedly told officers he did not have. It remains unclear at what point during the search of the area officers allegedly came in contact with Mr. Moore. The report does suggest the audio and video from the situation is available. Channel 9 has requested body cam footage of the encounter, but the legal division of BRPD said yesterday that the body cam video is not available because it's part of an open internal affairs investigation. 3 police officers, by the way, are under suspension right now while this thing's being investigated. So this gets more and more.
Are they under suspension or paid leave?
It's paid administrative leave.
Okay,
is what
so
they
that's
do.
different from suspension.
Well, yeah, okay, they're not suspended. I beg your pardon. They're on paid administrative leave pending the investigation. This incident is still investigation, and I have confidence Chief Paul will get to the bottom of it. I know he's continuing to reach out to the LSU student, his family, and others involved. Resolving this is a crucial matter, and I'm requesting the chief expedite the investigation against the backdrop of state law, which dictates the investigatory process. These are the words of Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. So here's what's confusing. Police were called to a disturbance and found no disturbance. So the big hole, what's missing from the story is, at what point and under what context did they encounter Mr. Moore?
Well, and again, it says the case was closed without incident. is what Scotty is putting in this story even the same officers that encountered Moore? Because it doesn't say that.
That's not implicitly mentioned in this story, that it was the same 3 officers that were dispatched to 740 West Chimes for a disturbance call.
Well, again, were the officers, do they feel like they were getting pranked? Because 200 people couldn't disperse that quickly without leaving some sort of residue that they were there.
No.
So was it a prank call to the police department to get them to come out there?
But again, and do what? And mess with Coy Moore? I don't.
Well, it doesn't say.
There's so much missing from this story here.
It doesn't say that this report, where it says the case was closed without incident, obviously there was an incident with Coy Moore. So is this just a report that that somebody gave? Here you go, kid. Don't bother me. Of something completely different? Which is funny. I'd love that. There you go. Don't bother me anymore.
Now listen, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on Mr. Moore or his version of events, but this thing's got more holes than Swiss cheese right now. Well, and again, it's another case like the one that we were talking about on our podcast today of a man who is wanted for questioning because he allegedly verbally threatened and punched a woman that was of a different race than him while jogging around the LSU lakes. This has got a racial factor. And when a story has a racial factor, of course, it's sexy.
Well, here's the deal that I'm still not getting. This story doesn't say anything that links the officers going for the party that didn't exist to the encounter with Coy Moore. In fact, it says that the case was closed without incident, and it doesn't mention anything about the encounter with Moore.
But let me read the first paragraph. As the Baton Rouge Police Department continues to investigate claims that LSU freshman wide receiver Coy Moore was violated by 3 police officers. Again, that's a poor choice of words. I think what he meant was his civil rights were violated.
Yeah.
When you say somebody was violated, that has a physical connotation, which is disturbing. Anyway, continuing to read, an incident report obtained by 9 News investigators details what led officers to that encounter in the first place. But then it goes on to say the officers found nothing, saw nothing, and case closed. So what led them to Coy Moore?
Who I believe was inside when all this happened.
It doesn't say that, whether he was inside, outside. There's so much still missing here.
It doesn't say they saw someone standing outside of a residence, and so they went to talk to him. It doesn't say anything like that.
Yeah, there's so much not in here, and I don't know if this is an omission in the writing of the story or if it's omission in the report. It's just, we're being asked to get intellectually and emotionally involved in these stories, and trust me, in my opinion, we're asked to get emotionally involved in these stories.
Well, yeah. Now the narrative, which is in a screen capture, says basically what you just said. And then it says the case was closed without incident, and it says nothing further, and audio and video is available. So this
audio and video of what?
This is their internal report for every case that gets opened because somebody responds to a call.
Wow. So this is another one. It's just a great, big, huge question mark at this point.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand if the video and audio are available, why it hasn't been released. And I do not understand the first 4 paragraphs and how they relate to Coy Moore and the officers. I don't see any link at all there.
So again, I'm wondering, is this Scotty? Is there something missing in your story that you should have written in here?
It's like saying I woke up this morning to a beautiful day and had some eggs over easy and a piece of toast. Then, when I arrived in Paris, it's like...
Yeah. So hopefully this thing, look, you know me, I'm pro-law enforcement, and I like to give police the benefit of the doubt.
Me too.
And I like to think, given the last 4 years of history in our city with police behavior, that we don't have cops that are violating people's civil rights. I don't know if cops would go that far. We're going to unzip your pants and drop your pants, so we want to make sure you got no gun down there.
again,
I'm not saying I don't believe Coy Moore, but I just want to know more about this
we also
case.
don't know the whole situation. Somebody obviously called cops there for no reason at all other than to get cops there, okay? Did somebody also later on say, hey, that was one of the guys and I think he's got a gun and drugs on him? Then the cops have to react to that is their new reality. We don't have enough context from any of this reporting to know what the hell's going on.
Yep. And that's why it's frustrating for me to be reading this from a news outlet. It's like, you're not really telling me anything.
Well,
and if you can't really tell me anything, should you be telling me anything at all?
Or should you? Or should you just say they are invoking the cone of silence because the investigation is ongoing? When we have more, we'll tell you more.
All right, another commercial break, and we'll be back. We'll wrap things up on this edition of Exiles TV. Stay there.
First three.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, welcome back to Exiles TV. So there's that story. The other story is, shall we get into this one at all? Do we have time in our final 3 minutes? There is an incident that allegedly took place on the LSU lakes between two joggers. One a white man and one young black woman, a student athlete at Southern University. They were apparently walking and or jogging, depending. I think she was walking, he was jogging. Something happened on that path. She alleges that this man, who she does not know, verbally assaulted her. And yes, that is a crime, by the way. If I say to Bill, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, I've just committed a verbal assault.
Yeah.
But then he also allegedly, she says, punched her in the chest and then ran away. This has got the substantiation of at least one eyewitness who managed to snap a picture of the guy. The man, according to the police, the man has been identified as a doctor with Our Lady of the Lake, but his name has not been released, nor has the name of the student athlete at LSU.
And again, we don't have any context.
This is what these two stories have in common, is there is no context to bring this thing around to, and what led to the confrontation.
Well, and
what happened? You know, how did these two people get into conflict to begin with?
And point of order, okay? This is the updated story, okay? And the headline says, police identify suspect accused of punching, verbally assaulting LSU student athlete, okay? So I'm figuring when I get to the body of the story, there's going to be a name. No, there isn't.
No, it just says that they know who he is, but they're still not releasing his name.
But they said that in the original story. This update led me, their viewer, their reader, to believe I'm going to have some new information.
And there is none.
And
now,
no context.
By the way, Gary Chambers on his Facebook page names the doctor, and with a picture of the doctor from the doctor's pages on the OLOL website. We're also told, and we haven't confirmed this, but we're told that the doctor's picture has been since taken down from the OLOL website.
I am sure that if it is who they say it is, he has turned himself in, because he can't really hide. But again,
the
no
problem with
context.
this is it's a black man and a white woman, and that means you have an alleged racial incident.
No, a white man and a black woman.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I said that absolutely wrong. This is a white man and a black woman, and I beg your pardon for that error. But that makes it immediately a racial incident.
Well, they might have had some sort of an altercation, and it might have gotten heated. Doesn't necessarily mean it's racial.
Right.
But I would like to see a little more complete reporting on this. If you're going to put it up, be a little more complete. Give us some context. I mean, the witness who took the picture obviously had some context. Nobody is reporting what she's had to say.
Right.
Anyway.
I'd like to hear what happened. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. We are out of time. More on this probably tomorrow. We hope that you will join us for Exiles TV. It looks like what turned out to be an awful looking day this morning. It looks like some glimmer of sunshine. So take care. Be well.
God bless.
We'll see you tomorrow.